Greetings, my friend. Welcome back to the Red Delta Project YouTube channel for the move of the week, making the whole world stronger with the power of progressive calisthenics. I'm Matt Schifferly, and this week's move is specifically targeting our quadriceps. If you're having trouble building up your legs with calisthenics and progressive calisthenics in particular, and you're struggling with things like pistol squats and trim squats and stuff, add Sissy squats to the mix. Why? Because they're basically progressive body weight leg extensions where they're really placing a lot of emphasis on your quadriceps, but in many ways they're much better than those typical machines because they're going to be using your quads in a much bigger range of motion. You can adjust the intensity on the fly, and if you do them right, they can actually protect and bulletproof your knees rather than compromising them. Now, to get started, I always first recommend that you have a good degree of proficiency with just simple, really nice, deep squats to begin with. Can you keep your quadriceps tense with your hips well below your knees? In addition, your hips and your glutes engaged here as well, because that's setting up our foundation for the Sissy squat. And if we can't quite do that, I highly recommend practicing things like assisted squats or even just simply basic body weight squats where you're very comfortable and stable, getting your hips as close to your heels as possible while maintaining that supportive tension. I always recommend using some sort of upper body support. And that's just not Sissy squats, that's almost all progressive calisthenics lower body training. That way we're not making the exercise more about stability and control and stuff. We want to really challenge the work capacity of the muscles. And while stability is part of the exercise, we don't want to make it a limiting part. So upper body support, I've got a base block here, posts, anything that you can have a hand on, sometimes even a wall can work very well. And we start in the bottom position. This allows us to set the tension in the most vulnerable position for the knees, because I know this can kind of seem a little unnerving for some people when they're like, oh my gosh, my knees are way over the toes. Isn't that going to be dangerous? And the answer is absolutely, but only if you don't have tension in your supporting muscles. Because ultimately, it's supportive muscle tension that protects the joint. So if the stress is in the muscle, it's not in the joints. And we want it in two key areas. Of course, we've got our quadriceps here. So in this position, my quads are tense, but more importantly, in the glutes and the hips. So this allows us to practice that tension control in a very safe and controlled way because I don't have any resistance on my muscles just yet. So getting into position, and the further you lean back, the more resistance you're going to have, but I can make sure that I've got my quads on and my hips are engaged. I'm essentially pushing my hips forward. And when I stand up, I don't want to put much weight into the hands. It's more for stability control. Instead, I want to feel like I'm driving straight down into the balls of my feet, utilizing my quadricep muscles primarily, but also all of the other muscles in the squat chain to stand up, making sure I'm fully extending the hips. I'm not like just coming halfway up. And then when I come down, I want to feel my hips pushing my knees forward. If my knees come back, that just radically reduces the resistance. And it's not bad, it's just much easier. We don't do things the easy way in grind style calisthenics. So setting the tension, wider is easier, narrower is harder. And again, trying to feel like I'm pushing my hips forward as I drive up. Constant tension in my quads. If it feels a little bit wonky or if it's quite a bit of resistance, you don't have to go all the way down. You can always just kind of do more like a Hindu squat, just fundamentally basically the same idea. And then you can work on maintaining that range of tension in your quadriceps over time with the knees coming all the way forward until you're having a good amount of fatigue in the muscle, preferably around, that coveted 8 to 12 reps. Sissy squats are a great supplement to really target the quadriceps in a well-rounded program or workout. I put a sample micro workout down below in the description, as well as the link to my book, Progressive and Weighted Calisthenics, if you want to learn more about building more muscle and strength with the power of progressive and weighted calisthenics. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the likes and shares and the subscribes and all that. Greatly appreciated. And I've got a move of the week coming out, well, every week, if you can imagine that. So I'll talk to you in the next video next week with more tips on how to build more muscle and strength with calisthenics. Thank you very much for watching. Be fit and live free.